I've known John for about 13 years now. We first met over a grueling rubber band war, and then it escalated to dodgeball, box ball, wall ball, all the fun things you don't do when you go to high school. So I thought that I would start off, since I've known John for a while, and let Sarah know a few things about John that he may or may not know. I want to start off and just say that John can be tough to wake up in the morning. So if you ever get the idea of using water or firecrackers to wake him up, it'll work, but you won't get your desired effect of how he wakes up. Also, when you're introducing your husband to people for the first time, or just talking about him, and you talk about how you guys met in college and what John did in college, and you bring up SAE, which some of you may have a little confused look on your face right now about that, like whoever you speak to, you don't want to say that John built go-karts. That will not go over well. All right, if you say he built a Formula race car, and then if they want further information, just give him his number. We'll be happy to explain it all to you in detail. Also, when it comes to dogs and trucks, they can never be too big. A car can be too small, a yard can be too small, but the dogs and the trucks, the bigger the better. Another bit of advice is that if something appears to be broken, it just means that you don't have the right tool to fix it. So, trip to Sears or something like that, and it'll work. And also, growing up in Miami, didn't really go out boating much until I met John. So, John likes to boat. If you're out boating with him, it's a great day, and you think that everything's going fine, just remember, it ain't no foo-foo ship. And the last bit of information that I'm sure you know this already, but just a reminder, Starbucks can make almost anything better instantly. Now, I wanted to go on and just say how John's been a great friend, and I started to think of stories that I could tell about John, and some would be appropriate, some wouldn't. And I started to think, well, let's try and think of something about John and Sarah. And I remember about 2 or 3 years ago going down to Gainesville for Turkey Friday, which for those who don't know, it's the Friday before Thanksgiving. Fried a couple turkeys, have everyone over. It was John, Brian, his roommate Sarah. Everyone would be over there. And that was the first time that I saw John and Sarah together as a couple. And just seeing you guys together by the bonfire in the back afterwards, I knew you guys had something special. And I'm really happy to be here today for this. I also want to say that, well, I think that true love is hard to find. And sometimes it takes a couple of years to find it, and I'm just really happy that you guys have found it so early in life, and that you have a long life ahead of you to just be with each other. And the last addition to the speech that just came about a couple of hours ago after talking with everybody, I just want to say, Sarah, no one will work harder than John will. For the entire rest of his life, he will work harder than no one in this marriage. You can count on that. Okay? Congrats to John and Sarah, and good luck on the journey as husband and wife. Cheers.
On Christmas morning of last year, I got some very exciting news. Sarah had woken up to a beautiful ring, and I was finally going to have a brother. Since that morning, I've spent hours on end flipping through dusty photo albums and rewinding shaky home videos. There must have been thousands of them, with babies floating in the pool with water wings, and toddlers twirling in pajamas, and little girls mutilating the wrapping paper on the first night of Hanukkah. But throughout them all, I have noticed one thing. I am standing at my sister's side, staring up at her with a look that can only be described as pure adoration. And it really is not hard to understand why. My pregnant mother, upon leaving for the hospital, informed my sister that she would be receiving a gift. Sarah took these words to heart and immediately assumed the role of protective big sister. When she was about 2 years old, Sarah asked the neighborhood Santa Claus to please get rid of her sister's diaper rash. Perhaps that was her way of making up for the time that she told me Elmer's glue tasted like honey. When the fair came to town, my sister took me on my first kiddie roller coaster ride. After about 10 seconds, tears were streaming down my face, and my blood-curdling scream could be heard around the fairgrounds. And Sarah, somehow yelling over me, demanded the coaster operator to stop the ride and let me off. And she grabbed my hand and led me back to safety. She unselfishly shared her toys, especially her disfigured Barbie that was one-armed and headless, Sarah's Gucci-clad, manicured Barbie doll drove the hot pink limousine, while my naked Barbie rode in a wicker basket that I pushed alongside. Sarah always saved the best for me. That unspoken connection that only sisters can have. She knows what I'm thinking when I glance her way. She's the only one in the room who understands what I'm talking about when I recite a movie quote. And we can have wordless conversations while we are brushing our teeth, standing side by side as usual. I listened to Sarah play Celine Dion's My Heart Will Go on the piano, over and over, for months. I gladly accepted her hand-me-downs and frequently went shopping in her closet. I watched as she made the varsity softball team, started the high school book club, and left for college. It was not long before I regained my place, standing at her side up in Gainesville. John and Sarah were instant friends, and he soon became one of mine as well. When you look at the two of them, you cannot help but notice. They light up when the other is mentioned. They smile when they make eye contact. Simply put, they make each other truly happy. Standing at their side as they said their vows, I felt one thing: lucky. I am lucky to have John. He officially became my brother tonight, but he's honestly filled that role for years now. I'm lucky to have a sister who is so much to me. My personal bodyguard, my fashion guru, my living diary, someone who will help me up when I accidentally ski down a cliff, someone who encourages me to follow my passion, even when that passion seemed out of reach. And most importantly, I am lucky for my best friend, without whom I wouldn't know where to stand. Congratulations, I love you both so much.
Amen, brother. Say no.